And welcome back to another episode on Across the Board. JB is back with us again today. It's very nice to have him back. It's been about, a couple weeks now for you?
But
About a couple weeks.
yeah,
It's been a
that's
minute.
right.
But we are glad he is back with us. And he is here with us today. We're going to break down the Stanley Cup Finals and really just recap this NHL season because this was an absolute elite year. From top to bottom, we had a blast watching it. I know the Stanley Cup Finals, one of the best it's ever been. Just fun stuff and all the storylines that go with it. But what a fun year we had. And with that being said, we go and hop right into it.
Let's do it.
Let's go and get into it. So first, we'll kind of just really start with the Stanley Cup Finals and then just really break down the NHL season afterwards. But we got to start with the big storyline from the Stanley Cup Final, and that being Brandon Bussie.
Oh man,
we talk about a guy, right? He didn't make a start for
he turned
Florida
it
at all.
on.
He just gets picked up by the Carolina Hurricanes, has not played a single game in the NHL, puts on a great season that he had. Okay. Freddie Anderson comes in for the playoffs, has 13 great games, struggles in his first two, gave up he gave up a total of 8 in those 2 games. Then he gave up another 4 through 2 periods of game 3. Brandon Bussie comes in, almost holds on. Carolina almost is able to come back and win that game. And from there, he was in cruise control. And really from that game, Carolina in cruise control. But Brandon
Got the
Bussie,
job done.
just outstanding. And last night, game 6 being really the nail to the coffin and just the cherry on top. Just the big saves. And you look at the other end, Carter Hart, like the big saves, the extra saves, I like to call them. Brandon Bussie had that. He made those few extra saves, and that's, as a goalie, that's what you want. As a coach, it's what you ask from your goalie. And I felt like Carter Hart,
Sometimes it's
last
what you
night.
need.
Yeah, and last night, Carter Hart only allowed 2 goals. I mean, he played great last night, but again, just he couldn't get those big saves. It felt like throughout the series, and as a fan watching the series, it's really hard to blame him for anything. I felt like there was a lot of blame on Carter Hart, but to me, I watched his Vegas team play, and I just thought defensively we were really poor. I just from top to bottom, we were very poor on the defensive end of the ice. I thought we had a lot of turnovers in the defensive zone. I thought we had a lot of forced errors in the neutral zone. I just thought it was really sloppy defensive performance, and then you kind of look at after Saturday in Game 3 when Carolina almost came back to win that game. And you kind of saw in that third period just slowly this team getting more and more gassed. And I told you, me and you talked about it. Wow, I really after Game 4, I told you my concerns with Vegas just being gassed. I mean, a great team still. You got Torts leading the way. Still a great team. Got a good captain, Mark Stone. You've got a great roster still. I mean, everything is there. But it just felt like they were gassed. It felt like they couldn't. They had sparks of good moments, and then it just unfortunately just could not bring anything together and could not put it together when it was needed. But you really look at Brandon Bussie and what he was able to do when he came in, and then just what Carolina. And in Game 6, I mean, we saw what they did all year, and they suffocated Vegas. I mean, Vegas couldn't get 0 clean entries even into the offensive zone. I mean, they were having a struggle to even get through the neutral zone. And and that's what Carolina's identity was this season, just how good they were defensively. Not just in net, but on defense. You talk about what Jacob Slavin being a big piece of that for this defense. The work he did with his stick in Game 6, breaking up big plays. That was the identity of this Carolina team. That was a big reason why they were here able to win the Stanley Cup Finals. But before I keep yapping on, I kind of want to get your thoughts. I mean, what do you think of Carolina's performance and really just this whole series as a whole?
Well, I will say those first 3 games of the final series, probably 3 of the most fun hockey games I've watched in a long time. And you're definitely right. The guys Vegas, they did look a little winded after that, and it's tough. I mean, two OTs. That's I think a lot of people underestimate how much hockey that is. That's a lot. And then and then you got to give props to Carolina, obviously, because they were going through it too. And I don't know, they just found a way to win. Really all the games were exciting, and Bussy, that shutout in Game 6 was awesome. And they just found a way to win. And I don't think I can't say anything bad about Vegas. They played well. Just sometimes just doesn't go your way, and they just ended up on the wrong side of the puck.
Yeah, I mean
And
and a
props to
big thing.
Carolina. They're a good team, and they will be.
Yeah, and a big thing you said there, like you got the overtime games, which is draining as itself, but this is where you flash back and talk about the importance of the rest early on, right? Carolina sweeps the first 2 series, only end up playing
Right.
5 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you get here into Vegas. You go to 6 games, and Vegas has that jump, but Vegas played 3 extra games before getting here. And that just takes a toll on itself. Like Carolina had a lot of rest between, they're in the whole Eastern playoff race. Because like we said, we were waiting on Carolina's opponent. I believe they had the winner of that would be they had the winner of Buffalo and Boston,
With Buffalo and Montreal.
Montreal, excuse me. They had the winner of that, and then just really all and the amount of rest they had in that time. Like when they're finishing series early as they were, just the extra rest here would accumulate, and just that. You see how important it was here. But
Right.
I do again. Big shout out to the Carolina team, Brandon Bussey, and just Freddie Anderson, and even the whole group. Logan Stankoven was outstanding this playoffs. From opening playoff game to the end of it, dude's outstanding. Just a lot of energy. He kind of brings that jump to this Carolina team. Jordan Staal, outstanding in the Stanley Cup final. Was really quiet in the first 3 rounds. Gets here and absolutely does his part. Just handles business and did everything they needed to do. He was just on a roll and handling business the way they needed to. And you can kind of go down the list. You talk about even Taylor Hall being another piece for this team. Like Stankoven Hall, great playoffs, and then Jordan Staal stepping up at a big time. Like he was quiet the first 3 rounds, and he stepped up. Seth Jarvis, clutch in game 2. Like they made the big plays, they stepped up in the big times. And again, you talk about what they were able to do defensively. Just that is your identity for this team. How good and sound they were defensively. In game 6, the game plan was there. They suffocated Vegas. They got the extra saves, and they got what they needed to do. And on Vegas' end, I thought again, these nights really, and even game 6, they had good chances, but they could not find the back of the net. And Brandon Bussey was just outstanding, and like we said, just gas. And you look at him again. Carolina, they sweep Ottawa, swept Philly, took 5 to beat Montreal, and then they're here, and the rest was big for them. I think that did them some good. But what a fun group, and what a final it was. Just absolutely outstanding. And you talk about the whole playoffs.
Great series to watch too.
It was outstanding. And you look at the whole playoffs, just the fun dynamic. You talk about Anaheim and Utah in the West being in there. I think 2 fun teams with absolutely bright futures in those 2 organizations. an absolute fun Central Division. Three teams that actually did not even make the Stanley Cup Final, which was a real shock, I think, to a lot of people, being as good as those teams were. And then just in the East, I mean, Buffalo turning their year around, getting here, making a run.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal being a young team, doing what they're able to do. As Marty St. Louis is going to lead that group. I mean, a lot of teams with a lot of bright futures. And Philadelphia, I mean, they made a nice run. And just from my standpoint, just was an absolutely amazing playoffs and just did not disappoint. Entertaining all around and just kept me coming back every night as a big hockey fan, especially. What what were your thoughts really just on really the entire Stanley Cup playoffs? I mean, what like really stood out to you?
I really like what you were saying. You know, there were some upsets. Like I know you said Philly. You know, I feel like they played well. I know they got swept in the second round by Carolina, but even in that round, I feel like that team's got a spark and they're going to be all right going forward. Um, you know, Montreal, as much as I hate them, can't stand them, but they shocked me. They beat Tampa and they beat Buffalo, and I think those were on paper some of the two best teams in the whole whole playoffs. You know, and Anaheim too. Same with Utah. All of them. It's going to be a fun year next year.
Yeah, and a big part of just the teams you said there, the youth, the big part of just seeing how those young
Right.
teams, like, I mean, it's like it makes you want. I mean, the sky's the limit for those teams, man. Just a young teams doing what they're doing now. I can only imagine within the next couple of years how great all those teams can be. And just we had a great NHL season,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least. But that will do it for us today on today's episode. Thank y'all for joining us. Go follow us at Across the Board on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Instagram. I think that's all I got. I mean, is that all the accounts, I think? Yeah. But that's all we have. JB, is there anything you want to say before we get
Sounds
out of here?
good. Yeah.
Nothing? Y'all good?
That's it.
Yeah. Go follow us, though. We will have
All
some
good.
NHL content coming out soon. More breaking down the entire season and in depth and really going into what each team's biggest needs are going to this off season, especially some big moves with Connor Hellebuck and Dylan Larkin. That'll be interesting to see where those two land. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be a fun and interesting thing to talk about. But we will have a lot to go over. So go follow us for when we post new videos out, and we hope to see you next time on Across the Board.